Welcome everyone to this video. We just hit 50 followers on Instagram. So to celebrate that, I'll be explaining one of my artwork from Instagram today in this video. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So this is the sketch that we will be using today. So let's start. So first let's straighten up the sketch. So now like it's tilted, so let's straighten up. Let's get a crop and then straighten, and let's make a line like that, and now it's straight. Now let's crop it like that, maybe like this. Amazing. Now let's remove this flower because I'm not liking it. So let's just go to clone stamp. Let's pick that area. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller, and let's just copy it. Let's go there again. Whoops. So let's go there again, and so we have to do it very precisely, so like that, and this, let's go there again, and this. Amazing. Now the first step is to darken the image. So to do that, let's go to levels and use these sliders. So I'll push the whites to blacks like this dark, and let's add a little bit of a contrast too, just this much with the white as well. That's amazing. Now let's just remove the properties, and the next step is to fill colors. So let's start with the eyes. So let's see. So first we'll go to like this circle icon, and we'll click on solid color right here. So I'm choosing to make the eyes purple, but you can choose any color that you want. It won't change. You can choose any color. Maybe you can choose a neon green, orange, blue, pink, any. But today I'll be using purple. So this purple, and then I'll be inverting the mask and going to brush tool. So just remember this, that white is equal to add and black is equal to subtract. So right now if I color, my opacity is on 10%, sorry. So right now if I color, you can see it's just coloring on the black lines, but we want it to color below the black line. So how do we do that? The answer is blend if. So double click on the layer and go to underlying layer, click on Alt, and just like move the slider towards white like this much, and we'll go to the mask again, and now you can see we're painting below the black, but still I think we should move the slider a little bit more. Just that's the sweet spot. Amazing. So let's go to our brush tool, go to the mask. First let's erase it. So to do that, we need black as our foreground color. Currently it's white. Let's press X, black. Just remove this all. Let's go to brush and decrease the size by square brackets and white, and let's just paint like this on one eye and then on the second eye, just like this. I think I spilled it a little bit. Yep. Now it's amazing. So now we've colored it. And now we can add some bright spots in the eye, so if it's gonna glow, some spots are gonna be brighter than the other spots. So let's just duplicate this layer. And one thing I forgot to do is just go on the previous layer, brush tool, black, and remove the purple from this eye. Like, we don't want it to get on the eyes. We want them to be black, just like they were in the original sketch. And now let's go to the new layer and click on this circular icon and then exposure. Let's increase the exposure like this to the point where it's like this pink, like this color, and we're just gonna clip it. Let's click Alt and click between these two layers. So now it's clipped, so now it's affecting the whole layer. So let's go to the mask and Control I invert, and let's now just go to this layer first and go to brush tool and remove all the paint that is on this like layer, and go and then just paint on these areas like this, just beside the eyeballs. Really remove the eyeballs. And sorry, I didn't mean to invert it, I had to invert this one. So now here you can see that these are the brighter spots, and you know the drill, that we have to remove these black eyeballs right here. So like there are some bright spots in the middle, like it's the brightest, and then it's like wearing. So let's decrease the exposure. I think it's a little bit too much, like just this, subtle. Now let's add the actual glow. Let's duplicate this again. Let's bring it to the top and remove this underlying layer. Let's hit OK. So now it's looking horrific. Let's go to the mask, brush tool, and remove all of it like this. And now let's increase our brush size by square brackets or Alt right click like that, and put the opacity to 20. So to do that, we can just click on 2 on our keyboard like that, and the opacity is 20. And we have to put the blend mode to linear dodge add, and let's just click. Oh, oops, it's on the black. Let's click on the white. So here you can see the glowing is starting, like it's happening. So we can just make the glow like this. Now let's do it on this eye, and especially here, like here. And let's decrease the opacity to 10% and increase the brush really much, and like do this. So I think this is good enough. First, let's just make this sketch a whole lot darker. Like that. That's what I was looking for. Let's remove the properties, and we have added the glow. Now let's add some actual highlights. So let's duplicate this layer one more time like the last time, and now let's bring it to the top. Let's zoom in, double click, and it does have underlying layer. Now let's go to brush tool. First, let's just remove all this. Oops, the opacity is on 10%. Let's just move it, yep, like that. And now let's go to the white as the foreground color. 10% opacity, or not 10%, maybe 30. Let's just see what is working. 40 maybe. Yeah, 40. Yes, 40 is working. Let's add the blend mode to linear dodge add, and let's just start adding some highlights. Like that, just on her hair. Like, now let's go to 20. Let's add some highlights, some over here. Like, these actual highlights does really matter and make a big difference. Some on the edge of the face, like this. Not this much. Let's go to black, remove this, opacity 100, and go to white, and whoops, 10% opacity, and then make the edges highlights, and on the ears too, like these areas. Like this, and some hair like this, like 20% opacity again, and on her hair, and these areas, and some of these areas as well. So this will affect the nose too, so let's add 40% opacity, and let's do this. That was a little bit too much. Let's go to black again and remove this a little bit. That's perfect. And these blushes, I think we can add, let's just try. Yeah, we can add this, so let's just add this and here. It's looking really good now. So this is the after, this is the before and after, so you can really see how much these real highlights affect. We can add some here too on this notebook, not with 40% opacity at all. Let's increase the brush size first, and 20 opacity. I think 20 is also a little bit too much. Let's just 10. Like, just subtle highlights like this. Amazing. Now let's start with the pencil, and for the pencil I chose an orange color, so like a bright gold color. You can see orange, it's between like a yellow and an orange, gold. So let's go to solid color, and let's just pick a gold color like this. I think maybe to the side, that color. Now let's hit on OK, invert the mask, and now you know we have to go to so we have to go to underlying layer, like this much, go to brush tool, mask, and start painting. 100 opacity, and just paint. Decrease the brush size here where there are fingers. Like this. Now let's add some bright spots. Duplicate, add an exposure layer, make it bright like that. Clip it, Alt, and then click between the layers, and remove this first. Increase the brush size like that. Whoops. So remove it, and then add some here, like not 100% opacity, 80, maybe 80. Nope, 80 is also very much. Let's just do 20. Yeah, 20 is good. Let's just undo. Like, we just want subtle, like that. Yep, that's amazing. Now let's add the glow. Whoops. Let's just copy this, remove the underlying layer, brush size, increase the brush size. Let's go to the mask, increase the brush size. First, let's just remove this, like do that. Yes. And I think we can remove this underlying layer because this is looking a lot dark, like just a little bit to like this much, and the bright spot should just be like this much only. So now let's go to this layer, mask, brush, 20 opacity first, and white as the foreground color. Always forget that. Linear dodge, add, and let's add the glow. 20, now 10 opacity, and on the sides increase the brush like this. I think we can decrease the opacity just a little bit. That's amazing. And now we can add some more like actual highlights. Let's duplicate this and add some underlying layer. Alt click and move it this much. Oops. Remove all of this, go to the mask, B100, and let's just remove this. Go to brush again, white as the foreground color. Let's decrease the brush size, and let's add highlights. Now that's too much opacity. Let's pull it to 20, I guess. Yes, 20 is working. Even 20 is a little bit too much. Let's just put it to 10. Yeah. Yes, 10 is working. Let's just keep it 10. Let's paint on the tips of the fingers like this. I think I've added a little bit too much highlight here. Let's just keep the the opacity to 60% and remove this. Let's add brush like just on the tips. Whoops. Just on the tips of this fingers, and we can decrease the flow and add some highlights on this finger as well. Now let's add some highlights on these fingers, and for these we can even have the opacity to 20% because they are like touching this pencil, and 10 like that, 20 opacity, that, 10 down, 20 again to the tip in that part, and then 10 to that part, 20 again, this, 10, and the shadows. Now so we have added real highlights. So this is the before, this is the after, and one thing we have not added yet is the highlights on the book. So we can just go to transparency, not transparency, opacity to 10%, and we can just paint like that, decrease the flow, and on some here as well. And now we are pretty much done. we have to remove this. I just saw this like circular thing right here, so we have to remove this. So we'll do it the same way. We'll go to clone stamp tool, whoops, like right here, Alt to define the area that you want to copy, and just like that. Now we have removed that thing. Whoops, I think we added something like here. Yep, yes. Now we have removed this, and this was all for this video.
Thank you so much for watching our video. Please do subscribe to our channel because it would help us immensely. Brainy Brothers are signing up for now. Bye bye. See you soon.